Hey, Ham. Whoa. Alright, so judging by the filters, it looks like you've already started without me.
Oh, Bomb! You're here. Good. Can't I just get 1 week of peace?
I mean, what the heck even is this? It looks like some high contrast, sandy saturation. I mean, it's not bad or anything.
Because nobody asked you.
This game was actually from the Brown era, but opted to actually look nice instead. I still can't tell what this is.
Would it kill you to read the title of the video before clicking on it?
Well, I'm sorry. This isn't exactly comfortable. Wild Watches Witcher.
Something odd about my experience with this series is how I played them in reverse order, even reading the books after I played the games.
But then I reviewed them in chronological order. Don't worry about playing them out of order like me, since it really doesn't matter. We also made sure to experience both story paths in The Witcher 2, which, unlike the first game, are substantially different from one another. In true CD Projekt Red fashion, this game is crazy ambitious. And I gotta say, Witcher 2 feels tremendously better than the last one. Hold on, not the last one I played, but the last one.
They get it! Now on with the grizzly old man killing monsters and sleeping around indiscriminately. Wait. Are we just playing some teenage girl's horny fanfic?
Just like the last game, you'll be journeying across the expansive world full of its various racist and grungy civilizations as the famous monster slayer for hire, Geralt of Rivia. It's an action-adventure RPG where choices definitely matter, living in this dark fantasy world. But unlike last time, we're not forced into using awkward point-and-click controls for literally everything. Though the gamepad can feel a little stiff at times, especially with the jittery camera. But get this, the game doesn't even crash nearly as much. Honestly, I think I had more problems with 3 than I did with 2. At least the game's relatively stable this time. But that doesn't mean everything got ironed out completely. You've still got all of the weapons, potions, bombs, and skills from the last game, plus a bunch of new elements making combat and questing better all around. But some things just don't feel quite right. Oh, come on. Even comparing 2 to 1 feels grossly unfair with how much better it is. And I'm not ungrateful, but the fist fighting is a lame, forgiving series of quick-time generic punches, and the dice poker is straight up rigged. I'm not kidding, people, I've actually researched this, and many quests, including one story quest, are tied to your winning at dice poker, so that sucks. And whether you see this as a good thing or a bad thing, the romance cards are now completely gone, simply replaced with plain old sex scenes. And Geralt only has like 5 encounters total throughout both story paths combined. He's really keeping it in his pants this time. Baby steps, Witchy. Combat really feels a lot better in general as an action RPG than a stand still and click on enemy until the game finishes calculating damage and evasion and everything. You can actively dodge and throw out signs and bombs to keep your enemies at bay far more effectively than in the original. Except when merciless unprovoked quicktime events during bosses keep appearing and killing you instantly. Those suck, and I do not miss them in the slightest in 3. Inventory and alchemy management are also much simpler to utilize. Though I can easily say that 3 will do all of this stuff even better, it is still miles ahead of 1 in terms of its gameplay. The difficulty curve isn't exactly stable though, with what feels like an intense beginning slowly getting easier as Geralt becomes more and more OP over time, with insanely tough bosses scattered randomly throughout. All except for the final boss, who is undeniably the easiest of the lot. Yeah, that's kinda messed up, but with all those save files you can make, and with so much stuff to do, it never felt like a real hindrance. Too Long Didn't Listen, this one's actually fun to play. We kinda talked about this earlier. At least I can recognize characters this time. People actually look and act like actual people. Outside of Geralt weirdly staring straight over the heads of dwarves when he speaks with them as if they were still in his line of sight, take a look at Triss in this game compared to the first game. How about Zoltan in this game compared to this abomination? Oh man, aside from the characters, there's the incredible creature design, environments, and cleaned up UI. This game all around is just so much more appealing than 1. We keep comparing this game to Witcher 1 like it's making incredible strides, which it is, but the first game was just really, really jank. I'm gonna give you a spoiler skip timestamp just in case you want it.
But honestly, if you're just interested in the gist and still want to go in unspoiled, I'd stick around anyway, since the real story experience is in all the little details of the various quests that I can't possibly cover anyway, as this game is just too huge! Geralt is appointed as King Foltest's advisor after the events of the last game, but after a dicey battle protecting the king during what Geralt calls a stupid war over Foltest's incestuous children, an assassin takes Foltest's life, leaving Geralt framed for the regicide, landing him in the Temerian dungeons. Geralt manages to eventually convince his interrogator, Vernon Roche, to release him and allow Geralt to hunt down the real Kingslayer. The trail leads him to Flotsam, a grungy town menaced by a massive monster squid called the Karen. Geralt then joins the sorceress Sheila de Tanserville in slaying the beast and discovers the Kingslayer, who convened with rebel Scoia'tael elves, was a witcher himself, Letho of Gullet, who during the pandemonium of an uprising in the city kidnaps Triss, forcing her to teleport them both to Aedirn. Here, the story splits, where Geralt must decide whether to join the Scoia'tael in hunting down Letho for betraying them, or Vernon Roche's band of Temerian mercenaries for killing their king. Both groups despise each other, and both paths have radically different quests you'll be undertaking until they ultimately converge in the ending, and unlike in the last game, there is no option for neutrality. But in both paths, Geralt will ultimately find Triss by exorcising a valley of undead wraiths from eternal battle, walling off Aedirn with an eternal ghastly war. Based on your allegiance, Geralt will support either side of this conflict, either attacking or joining forces with a free dwarven city-state or King Henselt's approaching army. There are so many choices to decide in this game, it makes recapping the story nearly impossible. Especially by this point, hence why I said that the spoiler tag in the beginning wasn't really a big deal. Ultimately, Geralt will do battle with a dragon, uncover and prevent Sheila's ulterior plans, and hunt down Letho in a final battle. After hearing him out, you can choose to spare him. This decision, aside from many others made in this game, can transfer over to your Witcher 3 save for maintaining flavorful accuracy of your playthrough, as well as potentially providing some extra quests. If it weren't already clear, this story is incredible because of its many impactful and weighted decisions it allows the player to make on the story. Take your time talking to people and discovering new conversations and Easter eggs. Make extra save files to experiment with all of the what happens if I try this scenarios, because that is how this story will impress you. Otherwise, that might honestly sound like meaningless fantasy jargon that didn't go anywhere, because out of context, that's sure what it sounded like to me. It's good. Yep. Oh, and the voice acting is a lot better. Everything was better all around, and that's why CD Projekt Red is where all cookies, magic, and sunshine rainbows are born. Definitely. I love how rubbing spaghetti on an orangutan's nipple causes dragon fruit muffins to erupt out of my fluffy marshmallow sprinkled tofu fountain. Absolutely. For how easy it is to get your hands on this game for a low price, it's a must-buy for anyone interested in this game. The Witcher for the second time. It's so weird to say, but playing these narrative-heavy games in reverse order is totally fine. In fact, I would highly recommend it. At the time, this game held the record for the longest sex scene in a video game, and I'm legitimately too afraid of the internet to validate if that is still the case. The positive gamer in me had a great time with The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings, landing a critical 8 out of 10. This fully realized D&D-like session is an incredible ride. This game is equally ambitious and well-crafted, and definitely gets my recommendation for Witcher 3 fans itching for more. The critical gamer in me doesn't need to meditate long when recognizing the tremendous step forward made with The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings, giving it a powerful 7 out of 10. The enormous amount of changes for the better made from the last game are staggering and much appreciated. Though the end product still has some room for improvement, it is still a great time nonetheless. But what do you think? Tell us how your positive and critical sides rate Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings in the comments below. But if you just think the old Witcher games are too outdated to play for today's standards, then you're just playing with yourself. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate future episodes. Thank you so much to our Patreon members, Atomic Thomas, Cameron, Arrow, Ben, Rowan, Erica, Shyam, Squad Fam, Sid, and Denny. See ya.